How has your re-entry been back to your regular life? Food, sleep, work-wise. The first week when I got back was a little weird. I live in a major city, like a very major city, just south of Boston. So it was a little crazy being around that many people again. The traffic, like, I don't know, I feel like you're almost like ultra sensitive to those things after being out of them for a while. And I felt like almost in a daze, kind of like what I just did, like, didn't happen. It's like you're just gone for that long and then you're just right back to everything, and it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, felt kind of in a daze. I feel like people were concerned about me when I came back. Like, everyone was like, dude, you all right? I feel like I was just like super chill, like just like I don't know, like enlightened on another level, or like I'm floating or something. You know? Did you have any weird?
It's just been quick. Like, I feel like the transition was just really quick.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, I just come home and then, you know, you're trying to unpack your gear, and then you're trying to see friends and family, and then you you have to go back to work. And I don't know, to me it just all happened really fast, and I'm already back in a routine and everything like that, and it's just, it was just really fast, I feel like. Yeah.
I recently got into hammock camping. Have you used one? Any thoughts on why or why not they would work on the AT? I have not used one. It is something I would like to check out. I don't think I could beat it weight-wise compared to my current setup, but it is something I'd like to check out, just to like check it out anyway. And yes, completely viable on the AT. A lot of people actually use them. A lot of people prefer them. Yeah. Supposedly you can sleep really comfortable. Some people sleep really comfortable in them. I never slept in one, so.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I unfortunately don't have much to offer currently in that regard, but we'll see. Now that I'm off trail, I can actually like make money and buy one. So unless someone wants to send one to me. Did the trail change you, or the way you look at things? Did it humble you? Any life-changing decisions as a result of your trek? For me, I don't know, I feel like it just reinforced things I had already believed in. As far as like, I don't know, you don't really need much to get by. I don't own too many things, and it just further helped me believe that I don't want to just live my entire life like a 9 to 5, whatever, you know.
I'm not the most organized person, and I tend to kind of collect things and hoard things a little bit, and after just only having such limited things in a backpack and being able to, you know, live like that, I had all my stuff from home packed into my car, and I just wanted to be like, hey, everything in the car, just go. Like, I didn't want to deal with it, all the stuff, all the materials. I was like itching. Like, so the first thing I did when I came home was I just went through, you know, all my items, and I got rid of things, and I just couldn't deal with all that stuff. So that was definitely one thing I changed. And then I had time to, you know, reflect on things and think of things I wanted to work on. And I don't know, I guess in a way that was kind of cool and therapeutic to just have, because we don't really have time in our everyday life to just sit and like
reflect on
think about yourself or your life, or and we had all the time in the world to do that, and that definitely will do something to a person.
I was listening to all sorts of podcasts out there, all sorts of things. I felt like I was a hippie at some parts. But I feel like it just reinforced things I had already kind of believed. You don't need a lot of things to have a great time and live a great life. Did you create lifelong friends with Big Mama? Acquaintances is a better term.
Are you too close enough to hike and visit? Well,
yes, we are actually. She's a Mainer. I'm a Massachusetts guy.
Yeah.
The White Mountains would technically be probably an equal drive, at least time-wise, for both of us.
And where we are right now is like 2 hours for both of us, equally to drive to. And I got a lot of hiking left to do in the Whites, so definitely. Yeah,
we are definitely within range. My trail name originally was White Walker, which was because I was a pasty white boy, and my last name's Walker. But once I didn't really care for that, just whatever. And then once I split up from my trail family, it turned into Stay Puffed, like the marshmallow guy from Ghostbusters, that was given to me by multiple people. I have, don't ask questions why, but I have the Stay Puft Man tattooed on my back calf. So whenever I was hiking up mountains and new people would see me, they would go, whoa, is that Stay Puft Man? Whoa, that's so cool. So the guy Pick of the litter, or Pick as most people called him, was kind of the one that originated that. So stuck with that, and that's what I ended with. How often did you have to resupply? Did you resupply out of convenience or need? Near the beginning, it was maybe 4 or 5 days, but I tried to push that longer. Maybe near the latter half of the trail, I would typically try to go for a week. It was something I was just trying to do, load up on food and just not stay in town, maybe save a little money. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because it gets really, really heavy, like real heavy. But I would not recommend it, whatever you can carry. But I think most people probably aim for like 3 to 5 days. Yeah.
I was going to say 4 to 6, so right around there.
Yeah. Resupply out of convenience or need varied depending where you were. If a trail happened to be like right next to town, I'll stop in there, grab a snack or something. So what was the most physically, emotionally, and logistically challenging on the trail? How did you overcome them? As far as actual difficulty, I would say the whites in southern Maine are rightfully, most people say, are the most difficult part, and I would say that's pretty accurate physically.
And logistic, that hasn't been asked yet, but to me, that was a lot of, false challenge. That was something that there was just certain parts that everyone were getting me so freaked out about, the Smokies, you have to get a permit and they're really strict here, and then backstreet, all this stuff, and then it's you get there and it's it's not that big of a deal. So there's some places you have to get permits and reservations, but it's you're gonna figure out as you go, and it's okay. You're gonna have people that help you, and it's not as stressful.
Yep.
I was so stressed out about it because everyone was really freaked out, but logistically there's nothing that's gonna really be a challenge.
I feel like a lot of people think the trail is the Wisconsin guys we started with. They didn't really know anything. They thought they were gonna rough it out in the wilderness for a month. They had 4 fuel canisters, bags of rice. It's not like that. Logistically, you'll be all right. So don't overthink anything. For real, you're closer to a town than you realize.
Yeah, and stuff just works out.
Yeah.
Even at the end,
the trail provides.
Even at the end with okay, so in Chris not wanting to really plan a reserve, it kind of rubbed off on me. So when it came time to summit Katahdin, everyone we knew had parents that made them reservations and were waking up at 4 a.m. to hike there and claim one of the spots, and we rolled out at 10 o'clock because we were either way we're screwed, we're not going to get a spot, and we ended up getting there, we got 2 of the last spots in the birches just by chance of trail provide.
Yeah, there was literally nothing to worry about. So logistically, don't worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
How many pairs of shoes did you go through? So I had the initial one that I started with. I went through 3 afterward because I had the issue where they weren't made anymore. Because I was looking to try on a pair of Ultra Lone Peak 3.0s, which were widely suggested. And then I went through 3 pairs. I'm actually currently wearing the last ones right now of Ultra Lone Peak 3.0s. The Ultras were great. They were used by a ton of people on the trail. And the original shoe I was using was the Saucony Exodus 6.0, but they completely changed the design of it. I went through technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, but 3 of them I didn't actually use. I used for a week, got terrible blisters, or they hurt my feet, and I shipped them home and tried another pair. So I would say 4 actual pairs of shoes are what I used.
I started with Solomon Trail Runners, had those for a week. They were not working out, so then I found a shoe that I really liked, North Face Ultra Endurance, and then I went through 4 pairs of those because trail runners aren't going to last you, 1,000 miles. So.
And they hooked you up with a replacement pair too?
They did, yeah. So my first pair, I put 800 miles in, and then the second pair, maybe 400. The third pair I went through the whites, and those did not last very long at all, just because the terrain, is kind of strenuous.
Eats shoes up.
Yeah, and then I just reached out to North Face, and I was I love your product.
Give me free stuff.
No, I was just it's just by the time I went through all my shoes, it was $600 worth of shoes, and they were super kind. They're just send us a used pair, and we'll send you a new pair.
Yeah,
so
it died. Cool. The shoes died much quicker than they should have.
Yeah.
So good on them for doing good by Big Mammoth.
That's right.
What app did you use for the AT elevation? I used the Gut Hook hiking app. Highly, highly recommend it. You can download everything to your phone so it doesn't use any data. And if that's the only thing you're using, your battery will last surprisingly long. I think for average on mine, if I used just Gut Hook, didn't play music or anything, my battery would go down 10 to 15%, maybe.
That's one thing about the earlier question. If I could change anything about gear or doing it differently, I would have gotten Gut Hooks because I didn't get that, and I wish I did.
Yeah, Gut Hook is great on the actual trail, but there's not a lot of information on the towns. And that's where I think the AWOL guide, the actual book guide, kind of shines. There stuff for towns. There's detailed maps of the town, phone numbers for everything, like what they offer. So I think it's a great combination. So I would use both Guthook and AWOL, and then paper maps too if you're into that. Care.
How do you take care of your wet feet?
Yeah.
Just make sure you do. Always have a dry pair of socks that you save just for sleeping in or whatever, because trench foot and athlete's foot and conditions like that is so real, and that happens kind of frequently to people.
Too frequently. Take care of your feet. They're what are literally carrying you.
Keep them dry.
Yeah. I noticed your knee socks in the videos. Are those compression socks? If so, can you elaborate why you wore them, how they performed? Did they ever feel binding or uncomfortable? Do you limit the hours of days you wore them? If they weren't compression socks, then cool socks. They were actually compression socks. The reason I wore them though wasn't because of the compression. I didn't want to wear pants in tick country, so my happy medium was to wear the knee-high socks, coat them. I sprayed every clothing article in permethrin, so it allowed me to still wear shorts but have almost full leg coverage as far as material goes. They performed really good, so really well. They were made by a company, Sockwell is the name. They never felt binding or uncomfortable, but they were thin enough too. They were thinner than the Darn Toughs, and I actually grew to enjoy that better. I did not limit the hours a day I wore them, and yeah, they were great. I had three pairs, excuse me. The first one I had, I did end up getting a hole through the toes, but the other two are functioning completely fine still.
Did you take vitamins on the trail?
I took, it was just like a basic, whatever, a men's multivitamin. So I took one every morning. And you did too.
Yeah,
right?
I took a probiotic, and then I took just like it was a little capsule that had fruit and vegetable nutrients in it.
Nice.
But not potassium specifically for leg cramps. Yeah, but I guess in the multivitamin.
Yep. Knowing what you know now, any advice you would give yourself starting out?
You always hear it, but just like take your time. I would have told myself just take my time, because you always hear it, but it's like going in, it's like, you might want to do it in 5-6 months, but you don't have to do 20 miles every day. And like Chris said, if you have planned a 15-mile, but then you get to a cool spot at 10, just stop. Like, it's not the end of the world. Stay at that site instead. Yep. And just be flexible. I would have told myself that, and just to take my time, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.